Welcome to the new book releases for the week of April 22nd. We have quite the list this week, and every genre will be separated by timestamps if this is your first time here. I'm Morgan. I really hope you find a book that you enjoy and you'll come back every week for more titles. Our first one up this week is Fantasy with A Letter to the Luminous Deep by Sylvie Cathrall. It's marketed towards fans of Emily Wild's Encyclopedia of Fairies, whereas that one was told through Emily's journal entries, or her scientist log journal field book. No, it has a name. This one though is told through letters from our main characters at the beginning to their siblings and each other. Reviews that I saw, the earlier reviews, do seem to be either you love it or you're not vibing with it as much because it is very formal writing style of the Victorianish era. A bit about it though is it's a beautiful discovery outside the window of her underwater home prompts a reclusive E to begin a correspondence with renowned scholar Henry Sell. The letters they share are filled with passion, at first for their mutual interests and then, inevitably, for each other. Together they uncover a mystery from unknown depths destined to transform the underwater world they both equally love and fear. But by no mere coincidence, a sea quake destroys E's home and she and Henry vanish. Then we have Dragon Rider by Taryn Matheru. In this one, we are following Jai. He's a royal hostage ever since his father, who was kind of king of the stepfolk, a nomadic people, led it says a failed rebellion against the empire. But it wasn't really a rebellion. They were just trying to, remain free before their territory was occupied by the empire. So rebellion is the wrong word there. But since then, he and his brothers have been royal hostages to keep their uncle and the rest of the people in line. Jai serves the old emperor who actually did battle his father, but after they conquered the stepfolk, then he stepped down as emperor and gave the title to his son. And now the grandson of that emperor is going to be married to the princess of the Dansk, which is a northern tribe people who control and who can soul bond dragons. And as part of her dowry, they actually bring a dragon. But the dance people chose peace with the empire by marriage. They are there for the wedding party, and a very traumatic series of events happens that is going to completely change the continent forever. And Jai ends up soul bonded to a dragon. And that is just about all the description would say in paraphrasing. So we'll go with that and leave that there. Yes. Then we have Archangel's Lineage, which is book 16 in the Guild Hunters series, which I don't know why I've never heard of it before because it has archangels, vampires, and hunters. All of it sounds really cool, by Nalini Singh. I'm so sorry. If you have been reading that series or following that series, book 16 is coming out this week. Our last fantasy is The Crimson Court by Brendan Noble. It follows the upstart matriarch of a fallen house. Sadira has sworn to destroy the elusive Crimson Court who assassinated her father. They are near immortal, wielding the spirits that once ended civilization a millennium ago, but she is a reacher from the realm of death, their worst fear. But to kill her deceitful foes, she must first find them. And it was blurbed as step into a new world of fantasy intrigue where flintlock guns, epic magic, gas lamp technology, and spirits clash amid shadowy bids for power. Revenge is sweet, but at what cost? You're going to be following multiple POVs, even though it kind of just mentions her in the description. But it's gotten very high praise for its magic system and world building, so that is always intriguing to myself. Now for some sci-fi. First up is Ocean's Godori by Elaine Chu. Ocean Yoon has never felt very Korean, even if she is descended from a long line of Haneo, Jeju Island's beloved female divers. Ocean also is persona non grata at the Alliance, Korea's solar system dominating space agency, since the mission went awry and she earned a reputation for being a little too quick with her gun. But now, her best friend is being framed for the murder of his own family, and Ocean and her misfit crewmates are pushed to the forefront of a high-stakes conflict where dodging bullets and winning space chases might just be the easiest part of what's coming next. Our next one up is kind of a genre-bending compilation, because it's listed under sci-fi, mystery, and horror. I don't know, maybe I get at the sci-fi a little bit, but from its description, not a whole lot. The Redemption of Morgan Bright by Chris Panettiere. What would guilt make you do? Hadley Keene died on the road leading away from Hollyhock Asylum. The reasons are unknown. Her sister Morgan blames herself. A year later, the case is still unsolved. Morgan creates a false identity, that of a troubled housewife named Charlotte Turner, and goes inside. She quickly discovers that Hollyhock is not right. Morgan is shaken by the hospital's peculiar routines and is soon beset by strange episodes. Our next one definitely seems to fall into the sci-fi, at least for this specific iteration. I think it's number 4 in this series. I mean, it's blurbed itself as a sci-fi adventurous saga. But the title is Murder on the Pineapple Express by Tom Sadira. The first book was The Joint of No Return. Charlie Hong is on the run from both sides of the law. He spent the last year in hiding, cultivating one last harebrained scheme to escape his troubles, a clandestine marijuana operation. Just as he's about to cash in, his cash crop is stolen by a bright light appearing in the night sky. After catching a ride with one of his plants, he finds himself thrown into a world far stranger than anything he could have possibly imagined. From there, we move to our thriller of the week, which is Darling Girls by Sally Hempworth. For as long as they can remember, Jessica, Nora, and Alicia have been told how lucky they are. As young girls, they were rescued from a family tragedies and raised by a loving foster mother, Miss Fairchild, on an idyllic farming estate and given an elusive second chance at a happy family life. But their childhood wasn't a fairy tale everyone thinks it was. Miss Fairchild had rules, Miss Fairchild could be unpredictable, and Miss Fairchild was never, ever to be crossed. In a moment of desperation, the three broke away from Miss Fairchild and thought they were free. Even though they never saw her again, she was always somewhere in the shadow of their minds, and a body has been discovered under the same home they grew up. The foster sisters will find themselves thrust into the spotlight as key witnesses or possibly prime suspects. Then in romance, we have the conclusion to the Zodiac Academy series, Restless Stars by Caroline Peckham and Suzanne Valenti. I'm a Gemini, impulsive, curious, headstrong, a twin, heir to a throne I know nothing about, and it turns out I'm Faye. So this is romance, but they're at like a college for magic-y people. So, does it ever mention her name? No, I don't think that the first book's description mentions the main character's name, or if we're following both twins. And then the highly anticipated Funny Story by Emily Henry. I'm still not sure if I'm going to try it. Maybe I'll try it. I don't know. The last one just... Daphne always loved the way her fiancé Peter told their story, how they met, fell in love, and moved back to his lakeside hometown to begin their life together. He really was good at telling it, right up until the moment he realized he was actually in love with his childhood best friend Petra. Which is how Daphne begins her new story, stranded in a beautiful Waning Bay, Michigan, without friends or family, but with a dream job as a children's librarian that barely pays the bills, and proposing to be roommates with the only person who could possibly understand her predicament, Petra's ex, Miles Novak. Moving into the YA sphere, we're going to start with the YA fantasy that's a reimagining of Alice in Wonderland. Off with Their Heads by Zoe Hannah Matuka. In a world where saints are monsters and Wonderland is the dark forest where they lurk, it's been 5 years since young witches and lovers Caro Rabbit and Isadora Alice Sickle were both sentenced to that forest for a crime they didn't commit, and 4 years since they shattered one another's hearts, each willing to sacrifice the other for a chance at freedom. But there's a secret about the saints the queen's been guarding, and a volatile magic at play, even more dangerous to Isa and Caro than they are to each other. Next is Song of the Six Realms by Judy I. Lin. Zue, a talented young musician, has no past and probably no future. Orphaned at a young age, her kindly poet uncle took her in and arranged for an apprenticeship at one of the most esteemed entertainment houses in the kingdom. She doesn't remember much from before entering the House of Flowing Water, and when her uncle is suddenly killed in a bandit attack, she's devastated to lose the last connection to a life outside of her indentured contract. One night, she's unexpectedly called to the garden to put on a private performance for the enigmatic Duke Ming. For a young man of nobility, he is strangely kind and awkward, and surprises Zue further with an irresistible offer: serve as a musician in a residence at his manor for 1 year, and he'll set her free of her indenture. Then we have A Whisper in the Walls by Scott Renchingen. This is the sequel to A Door in the Dark, which was following Ren Monroe has spent 4 years proving she's one of the best wizards in her generation. But top marks at Balmeric University will mean nothing if she fails to get recruited into one of the major houses. Enter Theo Brood. If being rich was a sin, he'd already be halfway to hell. After a failed and disastrous party trick, fate has the two of them crossing paths in the public waxway portal the day before holidays. A fight breaks out. In the chaos, this portal spell malfunctions. All 6 students are snatched from the safety of the school's campus and set down in the middle of nowhere, and one of them is dead on arrival. Last up is going to be a YA mystery, Dark Parts of the Universe by Samuel Miller. In Calico Springs, Willie's life has been defined by two powerful forces, God and the river. The miracle boy died for 5 minutes as a young child, and ever since, Willie is certain he's survived for a reason, but that purpose didn't come clear until he found the game. The game is called Manifest Atlas, and the concept is simple. Enter an intention and the game provides a target, a blinking blue dot on the map. Willie's older brother Bones doesn't believe him, but their friends are intrigued. Sorry, a girl from across the river sets the next intention, something bloody. That's all for this week's list. Maybe you found something new to pick up, or at least a series maybe to add on to your ever-growing wish list of TBR. If there was one that came out this week that I didn't mention and you know about, feel free to drop it in the comments down below for all of us to check out and enjoy. If you liked my video, you can go check out some of my other ones, and if you're liking my style, subscribe so you can come back every Monday to find new books to add to that TBR pile. I hope you're having an awesome day and finding something great to read.